the Soundscape Crusaders. Join Nate and Levi, two music-loving friends, as they explore the cosmic wonders of the soundscape. Their goal, discovery, as they pair music with media. It's a race against time as they face mysterious cosmic horrors that stand in their way. Will they complete their mission? Tune in to find out.
All right, Nate, we're back for season... Nope, not season. Nate, we are back for volume 2.
Let's go. Sorry.
Volume 2, we've forgone the traditional season method, and we've decided to be cool, and we're going by volumes. It gives us a little bit of a higher class, a little bit of higher, just intelligence. I feel like we're smarter when we use volume 2.
Would we come off more as like high art if we do volume?
Yeah. As everyone knows, we love high art. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, if you're an avid listener, yeah, you should know, right?
Which we have many. We have many. But yeah, man, how's it going? How have things been? We've been off for a couple months.
Yeah, we've been off pretty much most of December and all of January. It's about middle of February when we're recording this right now. So it's been a hot minute. I mean, things are fine. Life's fine. It's, you know, it's ups and downs. It has its ebbs and flows. It's stressful, and then it's not, and it's enjoyable, and then, you know, you just kind of roll with the punches. So what about you?
I feel that. It's been good. It's been a season of productivity for the past month or two for me.
Nice.
So I'm picking up a lot of things, you know. So I started to learn guitar.
Nice.
I'm like a month into that. I'm nowhere near proficient.
Nice.
I know a few chords. I know like 5
like
chords.
G, A, and D.
I don't even know G yet.
You don't even know G? Damn. G's pretty important.
Well, so I know A, D, and E, and then E minor, D minor, and A minor. And I'm working on strumming right now, which should not be hard, but it is hard for me. So I'm getting that muscle memory down right now. So after a little bit of practice, it gets easier. But
yeah, for sure.
You know, you just got to work on it a little bit.
That's fun. That's like tons of fun. So instruments are fun.
I'm having a lot of fun. It's a good time. It's a good thing to have a hobby that doesn't revolve around the screen, you know, like podcast. When you're editing, you're looking at a screen. When you're doing the podcast, you're looking at a screen.
I mean, our day jobs consist of us looking at a screen all day.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like eventually, like, I need a hobby that requires something different.
Right.
So.
No, I agree. That's cool. I'm totally into that. I'm actually like following your lead. I'll be doing the same here shortly. Not guitar. My parents have an upright piano at home, and so during my lunch break at work, my parents' house is like 10 minutes from the office. So I'll go over, walk their new dog, which they got a new dog. My parents have a new dog.
Yes.
He's so stinking cute, Dallas. Shout out the little shit. But they, like I was saying, they have an upright piano, and so I've just been kind of like messing around with it every chance I get at home. So I think I might invest in the keyboard here shortly. So,
dude, that'd be exciting. Then we'd be able to make like the Soundscape Crusaders experience.
Yeah, I'll be the synth and you be the guitar. Actually, you know what? I kind of like that. We'll have to circle back to that someday. Maybe later in the year we'll link up in something.
Maybe once we both know how to use the instruments that we're talking about, we can.
Right. I can play songs, like some chords. That's it. It's not really that great. Doesn't mean I'm proficient.
Hey, gotta start somewhere. And that's my whole thing, because for the longest time I was just like, I don't know anything about music. I'm not talented in music, so I'm not even gonna try. Mm-hmm. It's like, you don't really know if you're talented or not unless you try.
Yeah, give it a shot.
So
what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, I feel like I've finally passed my stupid young years, and I'm going like I'm at 27. I've decided like I feel more like an adult, so I'm like I'm less
27. Boy, you're turning 28 this year. What you talking about? It's coming up.
Well, yeah, it's coming up. But you know, I feel less inhibited by it, because for when I was like 21, there was stuff I wasn't doing because I was like, oh, it's too late to start trying music. And it's like, no, that's a stupid thing to say. Stop that.
You were your own roadblock.
I was a baby. Yeah, and now you look back and you're like, oh, I was a baby. And I'm sure people were hearing me say that, and they're like, oh, you're still a baby. So that's why I'm trying
You're
now.
not even 30 yet, boy.
Yeah, not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Not yet. You're almost there. You're almost there. Probably by the time this episode.
Now, by the time the episode airs, I'll be a week into it. Yeah, I'm almost 30.
Hey, man. Everyone I know that's over 30 says they love it.
I think like I've like really hit my stride life-wise probably like since like September of last year. It's kind of been, everything's been pretty good since then. So I'm okay with it. If this is how my 30s is going to start, count me in, man. I'm fucking down.
I think our lives are both better because of the Soundscape Crusaders.
Of course.
There's a trend there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, no, like seriously though, I am very blessed to like do this because this is tons of fun. This is it's a fun mental exercise for me. I don't know, I'm not going to speak for you, but it's fun to just talk about stuff we enjoy, whether it's music, movies, video games, whatever.
Yeah.
And what my goal is for this volume, I was going to say season, but this for the second volume, I'm going to challenge us. I want to challenge ourselves, like probably dive into genres maybe you don't normally listen to and see what we can come out or see like what we can take out of it essentially.
So you've mentioned this to me before, and I want to kind of add to that.
Okay.
By saying at the end of every episode, the person who did not choose the song should, give a scale of 1 to 10 on like the expectometer. Like, did I expect this from you? Is this like right in line with what I expect your taste to be? So today we'll try it first when you tell me the song.
This will be your first time to run that scale.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say 10 absolutely unexpected, 1 you failed. Yeah. I knew that was coming. So it better not be Death Grips. So
well,
I guess we should get right into it.
Should we go into it? Dude,
yeah, you've been chomping at the bit ever since we've like set the date for this first episode,
right? To
talk about this song. So I'm excited to know what this song is.
Like Levi was saying, I'm super excited. So I get to kick off this volume. Levi kicked off volume 1 with There Will Be Unicorns.
Yeah.
Or There Should Be Unicorns by The Flaming Lips, which is a fun psychedelic track by The Flaming Lips. Fantastic song, and what a way to kick us off. So now it's my turn. I'm the one that gets to kind of run that train. So there were 4 songs that were cycling through my head on ones that I wanted to bring to the table. And there's a good chance we'll probably talk about all 4 throughout this volume that we're currently in. But this one kind of stuck out to me as a really good intro because this song just came out a few weeks ago, off a record that released in January of this year. So today we're going to talk about Arrival by Parannoul. And that Parannoul is an anonymous South Korean musician that specializes in shoegaze. What'd you think, dude?
That was interesting. I liked it. I liked that. I like that sound, like like you said, the shoegazy. It's almost like a post-rock vibe. Yeah, I wish I could I wish I knew the language.
Well, so the nice thing is
there a translation? There
is. So Parannoul, we don't know who they are. They're an anonymous musician, but they sing in Korean because that's their native tongue. But there is an English translation on Genius, which I'm going to send you the link real quick just to be...
Yeah, because I don't even know. What's the name of this song?
Arrival.
Arrival?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you look for it on Spotify, and I assume Apple Music's the same or anything else, it's going to say Arrival. So on Spotify, it won't have the South Korean, or it won't have the Korean characters. I don't know what the alphabet's called.
YouTube has the Korean typage.
So do you know much about shoegaze as a genre?
Not a ton. I have a relative understanding, but, take me through it.
I'm a huge fan of shoegaze. It's one of those things I really kind of dove into in high school. Love shoegaze.
I know Radiohead's been characterized as shoegaze, which makes sense when you're a big fan of them. So
I love Radiohead. At one point, they were my favorite band in the world, but I don't think I really can say I have a favorite band anymore. I just like what I like.
It's hard to narrow things down.
It really is. But so shoegaze emerged in UK and Ireland around the late 1980s, and it came from neo-psychedelic groups that would appear detached and motionless, especially in their live performances. Some of the earlier influences are Jesus and Mary Chain, Dinosaur Jr., and Cactus Twins were also one of the other earlier kind of influences. But so the name shoegaze comes from its heavy use of effect pedals. The joke is that the guitarist just sits and gazes at their shoes as they perform, since they had a good amount of effect pedals, on the floor to achieve these walls of sound, if you want to call them that.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a great genre. This was a quote from Wikipedia. I think it's from an AllMusic article or something, but they say shoegaze combines ethereal swirling vocals with layers of distorted, bent, or flanged guitars, creating a wash of sound where no instrument is distinguishable from each other. The genre was typically overwhelmingly loud, with long droning riffs, waves of distortion, and cascades of feedback. Vocals and melodies disappeared into the walls of guitars, which you can kind of tell in this song Arrival. It's heavily layered. In that breakdown at the end, after that kind of lull where those little piano and chimes were going on, that do 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 do, that riff, they are combining layers of guitars, layers of piano. There's a drum beat over it, a bass riff as well. So they're combining so many different layers on top of it, and it's so loud is such a good way to put it. Some really popular bands that were in the late 80s, early 90s that helmed this genre are My Bloody Valentine. That's probably the most popular one that people think of. Lush, Slowdive, Ride, Pale Saints, all really great bands. Really love Lush, really love Slowdive as well. One thing I think is pretty interesting when I was doing my research yesterday about shoegaze, one thing I think that's really interesting about shoegaze as a genre is a lot of these bands that I just mentioned, even those earlier influences, they had at least one prominent female musician in the band who would either contribute vocals or writing components to the music. Contemporary genres at the time, such as Britpop, grunge, were just male dominated at the time. So I think that's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
There's I want to say it was Kevin Shields, who was the lead singer and one of the guitarists for My Bloody Valentine, said at one point there was just as many female shoegaze musicians as there was male during kind of the height of during the peak of the genre. If you really are interested in shoegaze, Levi, Loveless, it came out in 1991 by My Bloody Valentine, is probably considered the greatest record to come from the shoegaze genre.
Loveless is the name?
Loveless. It's a phenomenal record. But there are still some popular bands today that are kind of reviving the scene, because it did take a nosedive kind of around the late 90s. People just didn't really gravitate to that kind of sound anymore. But a couple bands that I think are pretty interesting and that really kind of push it to a new height, or to push shoegaze to new heights. Nothing is a band that I think is really good. A Place to Bury Strangers, I also really like. I think they're good. And Parannoul as well. And then also what's really interesting about shoegaze is new genres have kind of spilled out from it as well, such as Nugaze, spelled Nugaze, not in line with new metal from like the early 2000s, late 90s, not in line with that. It's more like NEW, like a new form of shoegaze. And then black gaze, which is a combination of black metal and shoegaze as well. So there's a lot coming out of this genre.
Interesting.
Yeah, shoegaze is just really, really interesting. I will say it's not like one of those leisurely, casual listens.
Yeah.
So take Loveless, for example. You got to sit down, put on a good set of studio headphones, and really dissect what is going on. Like in this song Arrival, there's at least 10 different like melodies you can pull out just on that initial listen.
Right.
And there's probably so many more.
Okay, so can you tell me where you found Parannoul?
So that was a kind of good segue. Parannoul released a record in 2021 called To See the Next Part of the Dream, which is another shoegaze record. The production is not as sharp as it is on this one. It's very I don't want to say amateurish because it's a great record. It was my favorite record of that year. Really, really liked it. But there was there was not as much polish to it, but that was also added to the charm, you know? So I was really excited to hear about this follow-up called After the Magic, which was released January 28th. So yeah, like a couple weeks ago. And I know I can jump the gun. I know like I have a tendency to be like, whatever, do whatever I want kind of thing. It's my favorite record of the year so far. I know it's like only a month and a half in, but this is setting the bar really high. This record.
So the whole record is a banger, is what you're saying.
Banger. The whole. I like the record so much that the whole record, every single song is on my playlist. It made my playlist. Yeah. It doesn't
pretty
happen
intense.
often. Yeah, it doesn't happen often. I mean, Parannoul has also released a bunch of other music under different monikers. A lot of it's been kind of deleted off of Bandcamp, and I think they're kind of starting anew with this, under this name. Like I said, we don't know who this person is. Do we know if it's one person? It's a multi-instrumentalist, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think for this record, After the Magic, there's other musicians that came in and filled in some parts, and there's a producer, but they helm most of it, pretty much.
Okay.
And they describe themselves as just a student writing music in their bedroom. This person's like probably 22,
yeah,
23.
They're probably young.
Yeah.
They have a decent amount of listeners on Spotify.
This record is really fucking good. And I think it's 10 times better than To See the Next Part of the Dream. And I like that record a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Super into this one. Super into this one.
I like it a lot. I love the ethereal kind of sound that comes from shoegaze, because you do have like that layered approach. And also, I'm a sucker for like more guitar heavy shit, right? Like I like the sound that it makes.
Did you like that part where it really took a nosedive and it was like really calm, and then like that huge riff came in and just built on top of that? It's my favorite part of the whole song.
Riffs. I love hearing the riffs.
Because then he's throwing on like different melodies on top of that, like that first riff that pops in, and it's so fucking good.
Yeah. Ugh. And then on top of that, all of his cover art is
pretty beautiful,
really cool.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Very, very cool looking. After the Magic it looks like a lithograph print type thing, where it
has a very winter vibe to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's wintry, but then it's like the music. It's like layered inks on top of each other, like screen printed, which is really cool.
Was it a couple weeks ago where we were frozen in for a few days?
Mm-hmm.
This record is all I had playing while I was working at home. I had it on repeat.
Nice.
And the juxtaposition, there was no juxtaposition. It felt like such a frozen winter type record to me that I think it like really correlated so well with the weather that was going on outside. Just I love this record, and I can't. It's a little short of an hour. It's like 59:51. Just like lay in bed or lay on the couch or something, put some good ass headphones on and just absorb it, and it's phenomenal.
That's awesome. I mean, I like it. It's really good. I know that you were super excited about it because every like 3 days you would text me and be like, "We need to record." I'm so excited about talking about this.
Am I coming across like that in my conversation?
I picture you like white knuckled, like your hands are just like
veins popping out of my head. Yeah,
it's like that meme of the kid with the he's like holding in his
in class.
He's like red face, yeah.
That bald kid, yeah.
Apparently that was like, I think that was in a DFW school, but anyway, that doesn't matter.
Huh?
Yeah. So let's jump into the lyrics, especially it's helpful since we do not speak Korean.
We do not.
Contrary to popular belief, I know a lot of people think that that's multilinguists.
Like, I'm just going to add to this real quick. What I think is so great about music in general, even if you speak the language or not, it's still like it still can captivate you. You know, look at like Sarah's song that was her most listened to. Yeah. Was that Norwegian or it was Icelandic, Norwegian? I can't remember.
It was something.
But I don't fucking speak that, and it was still like captivating.
Well, and something about this song that I find very fascinating is the tone. You already know the tone before you read the lyrics. Now that I'm looking at the lyrics, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what I felt while listening to the song. So it's very short, the lyrics are. So, through this tunnel, what will welcome us? Rough waves and a quiet road. I feel like I can do anything. To go through this tunnel, will I have the courage? Will you want me as much as I want you? I dream to you. Through this tunnel, what will welcome us? Will you want me as much as I want you? That's it.
Yeah.
But you feel it.
You do. And the music really matches.
Yeah. It has that dreamlike quality of kind of feeling lost, right? In the same way that the music has that vibe too.
Very much so.
But also you have the longing and the love element.
Like a desire. There's like a sense of desire as well. Because like there's something so visceral about saying, will you want me as much as I want you? That's such like a visceral feeling because it's you're left guessing.
And
vulnerable. You're left vulnerable.
Yeah, and it's expressed in a very interesting way because he's like, through this tunnel will welcome us. Like it's like this ambiguous, like you can picture yourself sitting at the end of a road looking down this long dark tunnel and you can see a little light at the very end of it.
Right.
But you have no idea what's in the tunnel, but you have to walk all the way through. Now picture the kind of like anxiety that you might feel with that. And then transfer that to the last time you had to express your desire for someone, not knowing how they're going to react. I know you've been there relatively recently.
Pretty recent, yeah.
And
it's scary. It's scary. There's a sense of fear when you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
With anybody. Whether it's friends, family, or, a significant other. It's very scary.
Yeah, and I do feel like that word vulnerability kind of encompasses the whole of this song. Mm-hmm. It feels like a very vulnerable song. And also, like, it's interesting that the name is Arrival because it's not really, the lyrics to me at least, feel like it's before he's arrived.
Right.
So
Arrival would be the action after this song.
Yeah. It's the goal.
Right.
So it leaves you to wonder, has he already arrived?
Have they done it? We don't know.
Yeah. So
it's ambiguity. Ugh.
Ambiguity.
Fucking English, mate.
Oh, well, great song, man. I think I already have my pick.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it just came to me. It worked. It feels right. And yeah, How are you feeling?
Still thinking. I'm still thinking.
You've had a lot of time to think about this.
I know, but I just wanted to talk about the song.
we can keep talking about the song.
I forgot there was just a second part to the show. You know, we've been on break for too long.
Well, we can talk about the song all we want, but yeah.
I have my pick. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go a different route than what I was thinking, but I think musically this movie is gonna fit very well.
Sweet. I have my pick, as I mentioned. So should we get into it?
Let's do it. I'm excited.
All right. So listening to this song, I've found a lot of qualities about it that led me in a very specific direction, because the shoegaziness and, like I said, the ethereal qualities where it feels like there's a love element, but there's also like this dreamlike feel to everything. It really just put me in the direction of one movie, and it was almost instantaneous. And yeah, like I really didn't struggle at all to find it. And this movie, I believe you've seen, but I'm not 100% sure. I think you have, though. This movie came out in 1987. It's by Wim Wenders. Did you say it with a V? Wim Wenders? Wim Wenders? I don't know. I don't know how to say his name. He's a German director. The movie came out in 1987. It is a classic. A lot of people, will reference this movie if they're, privy to these kinds of films. And it was also based on, the movie itself was inspired by like a poem that the director's friend or like someone he knew had written. And this movie it just has all of those qualities that this song has. And it's a foreign film. So kind of shares that, it's not Korean, but there's some kind of similarity there. They share things. And this movie is called Wings of Desire.
It's a great movie. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds make a fucking appearance in that movie. I love that movie. That's a great ass movie.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Pick.
Let's watch that trailer.
Fuck yeah. That is a good ass movie, bro. Good choice.
Yeah, great movie. It also is just a beautiful movie. So basically, for those who haven't seen it, this movie starts out and there's two angels overlooking West Berlin, and they're high above, and the only people that can see these angels are children. And
the name's like Damiel and
Castile. Wait,
Castile? I don't know.
I
know one of them starts with I want to say Damien, but that's not right.
Damiel and Castiel are their names. And so they're overlooking West Berlin, and one of them, Damiel, falls in love with a trapeze artist at a circus, which ends up being like it gets closed down, and so she kind of starts to drift through the city, and essentially he falls in love with her, and he gives up his angelicism to become human in order to
be with her,
have this love. And he ends up, once he becomes a human, he meets her at a Nick Cave concert.
Shout out Nick Cave.
Phenomenal. That's a really cool scene. Like Nick Cave is just like,
I think he's playing, I think the song he's playing is The Carney, which is like one of the older like 80s, like mid 80s Nick Cave tracks. Sorry, I love
Yeah,
that kid.
yeah. I mean, it was straight in the middle of that time, 87. Right. And then the other angel does not become human, but he encounters Peter Falk, who is playing himself. And Peter Falk is
good old Columbo.
yeah. And he's Peter Falk is a former angel.
Right.
And he can sense their presences, and so that.
But he doesn't see him, because like in the trailer, he's like, I see, or he's like, I can feel you.
Yeah.
I can't see you, but I feel you.
Yeah, so. And it's just like this movie contains all of the elements of the song Arrival, because it has this dreamlike feeling. There's a mix. It's mostly black and film, but there's some color, and when it's in color, it's like very just stark and beautiful. But also the black and white photography is amazing as well. But it just gives
the
these
architecture
contrasts.
Is so stark and like very like blocky and square, and it's
very, very German.
So good. German.
Yeah, and this is a nice romance fantasy film. I tend to talk about those a lot, but yeah, this is
a good one though.
Yeah,
this one crossed my mind for sure.
Really?
Oh yeah, this is a great.
It has those the same layers that this song has, and even the lyrics of the song, like you have that. Will you want me as much as I want you? Yeah. That's what's going through Damiel's mind.
Yeah, because she doesn't know.
She doesn't know he exists.
Exactly. So how is he has no chance.
Yeah. And he has to give up his immortality to even take a chance. And
he's clipping his wings for a chance at love.
Yeah. And it's really just an amazing perspective, because through their eyes, they see mortality as a gift versus something to avoid. And like, you can only experience certain things as a human, as a mortal being. And that love taught him that. And like, I think at the end of the movie, he's like, no angel can really experience this. Yep. But yeah, that's my pick. It's amazing. Please watch it. It's available, I'm sure, somewhere.
Beautiful pick.
I think it might be on HBO Max.
That's one of those movies that's just like you come away from it like awestruck.
Oh,
the cinematography is just, it's phenomenal. And I love the contrast from black and white when they're with the angels and they're in, like, I don't know, I don't think it's called, I don't think they would call it heaven, but you're following the angels, Damiel and Castiel or whatever his second one's name is. And then when you go to like mortality, when you go to become a human, it comes to color.
Which is an interesting way to go about it, because again, you would think that the color would be from the view of the angels, and that like, oh, like I want to be an immortal being, but they're separated. There's like a clear separation between them and other people, and they're just watchers.
Knowing like for us, we're mortal.
Yeah.
And
are we?
I'd hope so. I don't want to be immortal. That sounds awful. So we wouldn't know what it's like. You think it's going to be all peachy clean. It's the grass. Is the grass always greener on the other side?
Yeah.
When in their eyes, everything is just grim and gray and drab. I think it's got an interesting contrast to it.
Yeah, and lonely is what I feel like is the main thing, because they are completely separated. It's like, imagine everyone you can't see you.
Yeah.
So like, you can only interact with a few people, and this is
what
basically.
If you don't like those people? Like, that would suck. Like.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could talk about this all the time. It's on HBO Max. I think it might also be on. So most people have one of those too. So go watch it.
Highly recommend.
So that's my pick, man.
I've only seen it twice, and both times I've like almost cried. It's so good.
I think I might watch it again soon. Like, just watching the trailer, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, it's good.
I need some.
Was that
just heady?
what was the name of that class? It was like world film, right? Where we went all around the world. Or was it just film history? Was it just film history?
Just like,
I don't know. We saw a lot of good movies in that class.
yeah, I honestly don't remember. It was
that was the same class where we saw To Live. That movie rocked me.
Dude, that class kind of broke us a few times.
I think I cried 5 times during To Live. Like, at least. Like, I cried like a baby.
I finally found a DVD of that, and I haven't had the heart to watch it because I've had it built up in my head for so long that I'm like,
I bet it's still good. Good.
I know it's still good, but do I have like the emotional capacity?
Right.
To
there are some
it's got to be the right
rough scenes in that movie, man. I'd have to watch that alone because I'd just be a mess. I feel like I've gotten softer since college. Like, Same. I feel like I'll cry easier in a movie. You know,
Same.
If something touches me, I'm like, oh fuck, you know.
Yeah, dude, I will walk in a room, and Lauren it'll be 20 minutes into a random show about something, and I see a snippet of a scene, and I start crying. Like, it does not take a lot for me anymore.
And she's like, what the fuck?
She's like, I'm not even crying. And I'm like, you're on your phone. You're not even paying attention.
That's funny.
But yeah, man, that's my pick. That's what I'm going with.
2 thumbs way up for me, bro. That's a great movie.
Let's see what you got.
Phenomenal. So, damn, I don't know how I'm going to follow that pickup.
Yeah, you can't.
What I love so much about the instrumentals of this song is there's like such a fantastical element to it, which is, I think, one of the reasons why you picked your movie, Wings of Desire. There's a lot of fantasy elements to that.
Yeah.
And so I'm picking a movie that's kind of has some fantastical elements as well. And it's one of those movies where you're second guessing and you don't know what you're going to, quote unquote, arrive to. You're literally thinking everything that's going through your head. You don't know. This movie takes so many turns, so many unexpected turns. I don't know if you've seen this movie. This is a sci-fi comedy drama movie that came out last year. It's got a lot of buzz right now because we're about to head into Oscars. It's got a lot of buzz.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't? I can't talk about this movie.
Is it everywhere? Everything
everywhere all at once. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been meaning to.
We'll watch the trailer and I'll kind of give a small synopsis to it. I don't want to really give anything away because there are some parts in this movie that audibly made me go, what the fuck? But like in a good way. Like, it fits the tone. It fits what the Daniels, that's who directed. It's Daniel Kwan and Daniel, I think, Scheinert, I think is how you say his name. But they collectively go by the Daniels because they're a director duo. But it's what they're aiming for. They're aiming for the absurdity. They're aiming for that nihilistic kind of style. And it works so well.
Aren't these the same guys that did the Daniel Radcliffe farting body movie?
Swiss Army Man, yeah. Which I've never seen. But I like Paul Dano and I like Daniel Radcliffe. Highly recommend the movie. The movie's really good. And it's not typical Oscar bait, so I kind of hope it wins.
Right.
So let's watch the trailer.
Oscars tend to do the opposite for me, what they normally would do, where once something's nominated, I'm less likely to want to watch it. Not saying I won't, because that's been on my radar for a long time, and I really do want to watch it.
It's good.
Dude, this year I've hardly watched anything.
It's very
actively.
Good. It's very. I actually, speaking of movies, I saw The Whale a couple weeks ago.
How was that?
It's good.
It looks very Oscar baity.
It's Oscar baity, but in defense of that, Fraser does really well. If he wins, I won't be mad. He does a very good job.
I want him to win Best Actor just because I think he deserves it. But the movie, it's like, I love Brendan Fraser. I just, that genre of movie, like the whatever you would call it, it normally doesn't appeal to me. So
it's not a feel good movie.
Right.
Not at all. You will cry.
He looks like he does a great job, though.
He's really good at it. He's really good at it. But it's one of those movies where it's the human experience, and it's seeing the world through the eyes of a different lens, and it's heartbreaking. There's so much to it, and I think it's good. I don't think it's great, but I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the performances in it, not only from Brendan Fraser as well as Sadie Simpkins, the little kid from Jurassic World. The first Jurassic World's in it. He plays a really good role. Hong Chow does a really good job too. So there's a lot of good performances, but it's it's a movie filled with grief and guilt and it's emotions that we feel. It's emotions that hit us at times in our lives. And, it's can be jarring to view that on the screen or view that on the silver screen if you're living it, in a sense. If you're interested, check it out. If you're not, I'm not going to push you to it. Not like this one.
Would you recommend it?
I'm in the middle.
In the middle.
I don't think I would, but I don't think it's bad.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that.
I think if you're curious, go see it. If you're not curious, don't bother.
Right.
But with this trailer we're about to watch, you need to see this one. This one is good.
Let's watch the trailer.
Very good.
Mrs. Wang. Mrs. Wang.
Mrs. Wang, are you with us?
I am paying attention.
Now, you may only see a pile of receipts, but I see a story. I can see where this story is going. It does not look good.
I mean, it looks good.
It is good. I think Michelle Yeoh's really good. Ke Huy Quan from, Short Round from Temple of Doom and Data from The Goonies. He's on a little revival, which is great.
Yeah.
I'm super happy for him. He's great.
It's because of this movie. And so even if I haven't seen the movie, I appreciate it for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's Jamie Lee Curtis is an IRS inspector and she's so good in it. It's,
which, Brendan Fraser and how do you say his name?
I think it's Ke Huy Quan. I think is how you say it. I'm not positive.
They were in
Encino Man.
Encino Man, yeah. And there's a really great actors roundtable. Yeah, where they
with Austin Butler and a couple. Colin Farrell's in it. Yeah,
and
that's great.
They were talking about how Fraser went up to him and he was like, "We're both still here." Yeah. And it was like that was a really because they both had a very similar, different reasons, but a very similar go around.
I don't know if you saw, but Quan won the Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor, I think in a comedy or what. I can't remember what it was classified under. But his speech, his acceptance speech will make you cry. Yeah. It's so good. Yeah. Because the Daniels took they thought of him in regards to this role. Waymond is his name is. I know it sounds bad, but that it's Waymond Wang is his name in the movie. I'm not being an ass. They thought of him and they wanted him to come in an audition, and obviously he got the part. And he's so good in it. And what I think is so interesting about this movie, and I think what pairs really well with Arrival, is if you're exploring this idea of a multiverse, different universes that are all connected. I love that concept. Every action you do, there's an opposite action. And what if that opposite action that you didn't take led to this later down the road kind of thing? Right. I love those kind of concepts. I think that's so fun to think about.
Which thankfully that's a very popular thing right now.
It's great. And
which I would have never thought.
That's why I kind of want this to just stomp the Oscars, because this is not typical Oscar shit. I just hope it wins. Shit, what was I going to say? But I think when you're exploring that idea of a multiverse, I think it's very fantastical, and I think the music from Arrival is also fantastical in and of itself and explores almost different tones and sounds that build off of each other like a multiverse in a sense. And the stuff that Evelyn goes through, that's Michelle Yeoh's character, she she has to go through this quote unquote tunnel to get to the end of this journey. And maybe in the sense, will you want me as much as I want you? In this sense of the movie, maybe it's not someone yearning for someone else. Maybe it's, will you want this result? Like, will this result satisfy you when we eventually do arrive to the end? You know, I'm not going to talk more about the movie because I think there's so many fun twists and turns that happen throughout the movie that I think you should witness firsthand and not from my point of view, from my perspective.
Yeah. And I honestly, I think our podcast works best as like a recommendation channel anyway, where it's mostly spoiler free if we can help it.
Right.
Unless it's like a major talking point.
Yeah.
So
there are major talking points in this movie, but I'm not going to do that to you. If you do want to watch it, if anyone listening is interested in watching it, I actually just watched it like a month ago, and it's on Paramount Plus. Yeah,
oh,
I
it
watched
is
on Paramount Plus. Yeah.
Okay.
So Paramount Plus carries all the A24 crap. So, and this is an A24 movie. I know A24 gets a lot of shit, which unfortunately, like, those fanboys are fucking weird. Like, I ain't gonna lie, but unfortunately, A24 puts out some good stuff.
Yeah,
that's the unfortunate part, is they put out a lot of good stuff, including this. I think this was very, very good. And
yeah, if you have Showtime, apparently it's also on Showtime, like through Hulu or wherever you get it.
Oh, I have Showtime through Paramount, so that's probably how I watched it.
Okay, yeah. So
which is a great, like, extra $3. So worth it.
Right.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, Showtime has a lot of things. So,
yeah.
But hey, I mean, that's a good pick. I think we have a pretty well-rounded
also
pairing.
Back to Everything Everywhere. The soundtrack is fucking awesome.
Even the trailer kind of felt like similar to like what James Gunn does.
So the soundtrack is done by this experimental band from New York called Sun Lux. And there's a couple other songs done by, as well with Sun Lux, but there's one song with Mitski and David Byrne. That's the main song from the movie called This Is a Life, and it's up for an Oscar, and I hope it wins.
Nice.
Andre 3000's in one. Moses Sumney's also in another song as well. So like, there's a lot of cool artists that are also within the soundtrack.
Right.
It's really good, and I think you would like it. I think it's really up your alley. So.
I mean, I haven't watched it because I don't want to watch it. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Which happens.
Yeah, it just happens. I mean, I like a lot of the cast. Can't forget James Hong. He's like
a legend.
Yeah,
a legend
legendary.
in and of himself.
A legend amongst legends, you know. Yeah, between Michelle Yeoh, Kwan, Curtis,
and
Hong.
Stephanie. Oh shoot, what is her? Stephanie Sue, I think is her name. Who plays their daughter is really good too.
There you go.
It's good. It's a really good movie.
It's a good movie. I will watch it. I'm going to try to watch it before the Oscars.
I love, speaking of James Hong, I love him in Big Trouble.
Yeah.
Shout out to another pick we've done, or you picked.
James Hong is one of those guys that's been in like 3,000 things.
Oh,
so,
yeah. And he's good in every single one. He delivers.
Yeah. Kung Fu Panda, Mulan.
He was in Blade Runner, right? Isn't he in Blade Runner? He's like a small role in Blade Runner,
I think.
I know he's in Mulan. He voices a character in Mulan. I know he's in Big Trouble.
He's in everything.
Yeah, he's just very good.
Yeah, he Kung Fu Panda.
Basically Everything Everywhere all at once has a lot of things that you will enjoy. And I don't think you're avoiding it because like you're being, you know, what's the word I'm thinking of? A contrarian. Like
I just haven't watched it.
You just haven't had time.
Yeah.
I hadn't had time either, and I saw it was on Paramount through Showtime, the Showtime add-on. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna watch this. And I was like, there were parts where I was like crying. I was like, this is so good.
Yeah.
There's a couple lines that Kwan delivers, and it's like, damn,
son.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's good. It's a good movie.
I mean, I don't have anything to add. Unfortunately. Yeah, no. Other than James Hong does work, you know.
James, you do work.
He do the work. But I mean, we got a pretty good pairing. I mean,
yeah. I think it works great.
A very eclectic mix of things.
Very much so.
So, I mean, yeah, seems pretty good to me.
More to add, yeah. Well, I'm glad you like the song, and if you do like it, I'd suggest checking out the album. It's really good.
Yeah.
A couple tracks I really love off of it, aside from Arrival. Polaris is really good, Blossom's really good, and Parade is also really good as well. I'd recommend those.
Yeah, I'll probably check out the album, especially since it's relatively short. The songs are long, but the
it's like 10 or 11 songs.
Yeah, short album.
Yeah, and Arrival's the longest track at 744, 745.
In terms of the expectometer,
So with the expectometer, before you answer, it's not if you like the song.
No.
Did you expect it coming from me?
Yeah. Yeah. Is it in line with what I know your taste to be?
Okay.
And 10, as a reminder, 10 is completely unexpected, and a 1 is expected. It's very much in line with what you.
Yeah. Like Gutter would have been a 1 for you. Love Gutter.
Yeah.
Gutter's great, but Gutter would have been a 1.
Yeah, Gutter would have been a 1 for me. Death Grips would have been a 1 for you.
Very much so.
Dua Lipa would have been a probably 10 for you.
Probably would have given you a 10 for Coulter Wall.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Probably would have been a 10.
Yeah. So that's kind of the parameters that we've
Makes
set.
Sense. Okay.
So I think I would put this for you. My expectations of your taste. I mean, it didn't. Okay, so the sound itself wasn't completely unexpected.
I figured.
So I would that comes down, that brings it down a bit. The absolute, I've never heard of this artist. It's in a different language, all of that kind of brings it up a little bit too. Right. So I honestly would say this is right smack dab in the middle at a 5.
I figured you'd give it a 5.
Yeah. Yeah, the sound, based on what I know, what your likes are. Yeah. It's very much you. Like if I heard that, I'd be like, Nate probably would love this. So.
Right. I like my heavy sounds. I love my heavy guitar. Like the Death Grips would have been a 1 because that is my zone. That's my alley. So
yeah, if I came with a Death Grip song,
that'd be a 10. I'd be like,
what the 10.
Fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah, you probably need to check in on me if I'm bringing a Death Grip song.
Everything okay, buddy?
But yeah, no. This was a really good experience. I think we have a lot more in store for the rest of the season. Just volume. Yeah. Not season.
Yeah, volume, sir.
But, I'm going to have to try to hit that 10 mark soon. So
I think I'll hit the 10 mark a couple times.
Okay.
I know there's a song I'm going to bring, which I'm so excited to bring because it's going to challenge. I think it's going to challenge you a lot. And I'm super excited.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's not something you would normally seek out. Doesn't mean you won't hate it, but it's not something I think you would actively look for. So I think I'm going to try to push you out of that comfort zone.
I mean, I wouldn't normally seek out Dua Lipa, and that song was like one of my favorites of
It's a great song.
Volume 1.
Dude, I love Dua Lipa. Oh,
so, beautiful. I mean, that brings us to the end of the show. So, as always, you can follow us on Twitter at Sound Crusaders or Instagram and TikTok at Soundscape Crusaders. And yeah, until next time, Nate.
Yeah.
What
See
are we
you next
doing?
Week.
Yeah.